Bjorn Ironside, a name that echoes like thunder in the world of the Vikings, and rightly so. His life, despite the many myths and legends surrounding him, was just as captivating and dramatic as any epic written centuries later. This legendary son of Ragnar Lothbrok, known as Ironside for his incredible endurance and strength, embarked on unimaginable voyages across the Mediterranean and transformed history, leaving traces that would be studied for centuries. But what was it really like? Let's try to dive into Bjorn's world without relying solely on sagas and myths and get a true sense of what lay behind this name. Born sometime around 800 AD, Bjorn's life began in the shadow of his legendary father. The sagas paint a picture of a strong warrior, eager for adventure from a young age. But was he truly the way the sagas depict him? In reality, Bjorn, like his brothers, was part of a powerful dynasty, born in the heart of Scandinavia, a world full of violence, struggle for survival, and the pursuit of greatness. He was not just another Viking. His name is forever tied to his legendary expeditions across the Mediterranean, a territory rarely explored by the Vikings. Unlike most of his contemporaries, Bjorn ventured far beyond the northern seas, setting sail for the unknown. It is said that he reached the shores of modern-day Spain and then continued into the heart of the Mediterranean, engaging with Muslim armies who were beginning to grow powerful in the region. His voyages to places like Sardinia and Africa are filled with stories of his indomitable courage. But what was he truly like when fighting enemies on foreign shores? According to historical sources, Bjorn, like his father, wasn't just a warrior. He was a leader, a strategist, someone capable of penetrating the most distant corners of the world and breaking through any boundaries. His quests weren't merely about raiding and pillaging. There's an element of intellect behind these raids. Bjorn wasn't only seeking riches, he was looking to understand, to learn, and perhaps to gather knowledge that could alter his fate. Many years later, in the 800s and 50s, Bjorn embarked on one of the most ambitious journeys in Viking history. His exploits in the Mediterranean became the stage for his great feats. However, unlike most of his contemporaries, Bjorn's aspirations were not solely focused on conquest. He was drawn to the lands and riches, but also to the people, the cultures, and the knowledge of distant civilizations. In some sagas, it's suggested that he may have had political ambitions, wishing to secure an alliance with the powerful rulers he encountered. His voyages were full of risks, but also incredible rewards. But Bjorn's life wasn't confined to just distant shores and battles. After his travels, he returned to Sweden, where he settled and eventually became one of the region's rulers. In the sagas, he's often depicted not only as a great warrior, but as a wise ruler. The tale of him ruling over parts of Sweden might not be as famous as his voyages, but it speaks to his capacity for leadership. The legends emphasize his role in uniting scattered tribes and building a strong state, focusing not just on warfare, but on prosperity and order. He wasn't a ruler driven by cruelty like some of his contemporaries. He was a man who sought peace and stability for his people. Some historians even speculate that Bjorn was instrumental in opening trade and diplomatic relations between Scandinavia and various European powers, including the East and Byzantium. Archaeological discoveries of coins and artifacts from those regions support the notion that the Vikings, under Bjorn's influence, were indeed involved in complex networks of commerce, not just warfare. Bjorn Ironside was, in many ways, a figure defined by the tensions between myth and reality. While the sagas present him as a near-mythical figure, capable of incredible feats and heroic deeds, it is important to separate fact from fiction. The Vikings, like most ancient peoples, created these heroic figures to elevate their ancestors. And Bjorn became one of those heroes. His name still stirs admiration today, a man who not only survived dangerous raids and became a ruler, but became a symbol of Viking spirit and the drive for exploration and conquest. But there's more to Bjorn's story than just battle and conquest. It's the story of a man seeking his path in a vast, often brutal world. The myths about him may be exaggerated, but we can be certain of one thing. Bjorn Ironside was a great Viking, one who left an indelible mark on history. His legacy wasn't just about fighting, it was about shaping the course of events and navigating the complexities of a rapidly changing world. to be continued in the next